Hey everyone, I'm live here with Dana McCall, and she is an author and founder of Legacy of Negasi publishing house. And welcome.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here this morning.
So, the first question I always ask is to tell us what you do and how you help people.
All right. So I'll just start off with my elevator pitch, right?
Yeah.
And so there is a literacy crisis in America. 66% of all fourth graders across the nation are failing to read at grade level. 85% of all juvenile delinquents can't read. No longer can we afford to push this responsibility off to the educator. Mm-hmm. It has to be the parent's responsibility to develop a love of learning at an early age, mm-hmm. as early as possible. Mm-hmm. And so, we are a Legacy of Negasi. We create games, books, and toys that speak to the 5 components of literacy. That's comprehension, that's fluency, phonics, phonological awareness, and vocabulary. We are where innovation meets education, mm-hmm. and our goal is to hide the learning in fun. And so each of the stories that I create have a strong message, but they're fun to read. Mm-hmm. All of the games that will be upcoming, they are fun to play, but they're learning, right? Mm-hmm. And so that's our goal, is to hide learning in fun.
I love it. Well, and I have several of your books. I got them for my daughter. I think, let me pick out the ones I have.
Okay.
She brought some visual aids for us today. So we have These Hugs Are My Hugs. See it there. And then Good Day. And my daughter's 7, and she loved both of these. And I also read them to my boyfriend's 9-year-old along with her. And they both sat down the whole time and enjoyed it, and enjoyed flipping through the pages and reading parts of them themselves. So,
absolutely. Yeah. So I write in a way, I call it my rhythm, rhyme, and repetition. Mm-hmm. So when they hear a phrase, or they'll hear it again throughout the book. Mm-hmm. So it kind of gives them that call and response. Mm-hmm. It's fun to read. And again, they're able to engage during the time they're spending with you.
I love it. Yeah. And one of our other members, Mandy, was outside this morning when you walked in, and she's like, "Oh, I have the Good Day book." And my daughter and I were reading it, and she called the other day from school, she said, and said, "Mom, I'm having a bad day." She said, "But it's a good day to have a good day." And that's from the book.
So, one thing that I didn't lean into when I first wrote Good Day, it's become my bestseller, actually, is adults were buying it for themselves. Yeah. For their husbands, for their college students. So I didn't lean into that initially, but we all need to hear that message all the time.
So. Absolutely. Yeah, I love that. Well, okay, tell us a little bit about your background and how you got this entrepreneurial spirit anybody could really write a book, but like you wrote multiple books and started a publishing company. Like that's really neat.
Absolutely. So it started. So first off, I'm a mom. I am a wife of 16 years, and I'm a combat veteran, right? And so people, they're like, "Well, a veteran, how did you go from that to this?" And they're at two ends of the spectrum, right? But I'm able to be lighter as a children's book author. And I always said when I got out of the Army, I was going to go teach. Well, then COVID happened, and then I kind of, my path kind of changed. I decided to homeschool, and then I decided, I started taking on other children into my home to help them. It was my cousins, to help them with their learning during the pandemic, the shutdown. And then my husband actually gifted me this company. He was like, "You need to start your education forum," right? And so I was like, okay. And so my son, again, we're a big reading family. We love books. My middle child, Uriah, he was like, we'd read and read and read. He was like, "Mom, why don't you tell me a story?" So that turned into every night type of deal. And then it went from, okay, well, I'm going to do something with this. Because initially, Legacy of Negasi was supposed to be an early learning center for kids to come, like a daycare center, but we were learning throughout the day. It was like a preschool.
Yeah.
And then we turned it into a publishing house, because then I decided, okay, I'm going to just write books, because if my son loved these books, surely someone else will.
Absolutely.
Right? And so it took me a year, actually, after he bought he gifted me with the company to publish, because nothing is ever ready in my standards. So
you had to get out of your own way.
Yeah, that's what it was. And so then I took a leap of faith with these hugs are my hugs, and I put it out there. And I was like, you know what, regardless, it is what it is. But during that time frame, I was able to just develop a catalog of books that are just kind of waiting to be published now. So
great.
People are like, you're publishing back to back. I was like, well, I'm not writing. They're not overnight.
Yeah.
But, I'll sit down, I'll write, and then I'll keep it. I'll revisit it later when it's time to go.
Yeah, I love that.
Definitely.
That. Well, okay, you've talked a little bit about the passion. Can you dig a little deeper into that? Because I know you told me one time about your 3 boys and told me some stories about them and how a lot of things come from those experiences.
Absolutely. So let me give you Legacy of Negasi. What does that even mean, right? And so initially our company was called Raising Royalty Books. And so then it turned into this because in market research, I found that the market was so saturated with raising royalty. And so I was like, okay, we're going to get lost in the sauce if we do that. So I went back to the drawing board, and we found Negasi, and it is an Ethiopian term that means he will wear a crown. It translates to he will wear a crown. And I am a mom of boys, and that just rang out to me, right? And so I was like, oh, this is it right here. This is what we're going to go with. We'll see. Growing up, there were not many books that reflect Black characters, right? And so I found comfort in reading the Bernstein Bears, right? And Arthur and those type of books. And I didn't really notice what I was doing, but I was looking for characters that kind of looked like me because there wasn't many books that looked like me. And so in finding, they're starting to get representation right. Representation matters. It absolutely matters, right? We say that Black boys can't read. Well, I don't think it's that they can't read. They don't read. They're tired of reading about everybody else. Right? They're tired of seeing everybody else being the main character, right? And so now they're starting to get it right? As time goes on, you can go online everywhere you look. You can find books with representation. You see brown characters, all different spectrums of children. But what we're still missing are boys, right? So the way they display Black boys in books is they're an athlete. It's gangs, it's violence, it's poverty, right? And so my answer to that is, hey, you are more than that, right? And so that's the message I want to send to my boys. And so that's the message I would like to send to other children, right? It's important for not only Black boys to see themselves reflected, but it's also important for other children, their ages, just to see them as children. They're not a threat. They're just as kind and gentle as everyone else. And so that's what I'm doing. And that's what I'm going to keep doing.
Oh, that's so important.
Yeah.
It's so important. And you tackle some big topics too, like these hugs are my hugs it's about consent, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. Body autonomy. In that story, I talk about how, they are the absolute owners of their personal space, regardless of the person's title or authority that they hold over them. Aunties, Uncle Santa Claus, whoever it may be, there are other ways to greet people outside of that. And so they have a choice. High five, handshake, thumbs up, or whatever. And it was interesting. A lot of people don't even look at it. Like I used boys on it, right? Because boys get abused too, right? And so that's another message. And in Good Day, we talked about that. It was resilience, right? We have to wake up and make a decision that we're going to have a good day because life happens regardless, right? But we deal with it. But then we move on with the idea that there's still an opportunity out there for my day to go great. It's not the end of the world. Right?
I love it. So, it's such an important message for everybody.
Yes.
So what have been some of the challenges that you faced along this journey?
Oh, yeah. Okay. So a lot of times, I'll tell you this. I was at the Women's Fair just recently, and I will tell you, they showed me love, a lot of love. But like the first 4 hours of me being there, like no one stopped at my table. And I was like, okay, I am out of my element. Maybe I'm not supposed to be here. Right. So people were just walking past my table. And I think they were just so, focused on the brown characters. these books are not only for
No.
brown children. These books are for everybody.
Yeah.
The messages are clear.
Yeah.
They're for everyone. So that's one of the challenges that I run into, because I really, my market, they're children, seven and below. So if you have children that age, they will enjoy these books, right? Just if you can't look past the character, the book is not for you. But if you can see past what the character looks like, the messages are strong, they're clear, and they are necessary for all children.
Oh, absolutely.
So that's the first thing. The other one is marketing, right? So marketing, just getting myself out there. May 28th, I celebrate 1 year of publishing these Hugs Are My Hugs. Yep, thank you. But just getting myself out there, like people, they're starting to know who I am. But I'm a skeptic, I'll tell you that. So I won't just spend funds with something that I think is going to work. I want to go to someone that I know that is proven that they can get me to that next level. So that's what that's my biggest struggle.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's I would say the most common thing I hear from people. It's always marketing. Well, you've gone over this a little bit. Can you dig a little deeper into really what separates you from other authors and other publishing companies?
My biggest, the thing that separates me is my why. You know, again, it's trying to present a more family. Well, I'm sorry, a proper representation of the Black boy in books, right? They are not, criminals. They are not, just athletes. Each of them, like everyone else.
Not a stereotype.
Yeah, we are not stereotypes. That's what I raise my boys to know about themselves. Look in the mirror every day. Your melanin is not a weapon. It's just you are who you are. You walk into who you are. And just remember to be kind, be gentle, and just be great. And so that's my message. I do run a nonprofit as well alongside, and it's called REAB BRO CLUB. I mentioned earlier that they say the Black boys can't read, right? And so that's my target for that nonprofit, is to get these boys together to read, because we push and push and push for our children from age 5 and up to with athletics. But I'm looking to change the narrative. I want to create student athletes versus athlete students, right? That's the big thing, right? Because if we're so focused on the sports, they're no good to anyone by the time they get in high school, because they can't play, because we didn't focus on academics. And so I'm trying to change that narrative. I do have girls in the program, of course, they come, but the focus is on getting those boys to read.
And it's REAB BRO.
REAB BRO, yes.
I like it.
Yes. And so that's what makes me different. We focus on literacy. We want to, make books that we want to get this set of boys to read. And again, it's for everybody, and we want to push a positive message.
And so you will publish other authors under your publishing house if they have a book that aligns with your messaging.
Absolutely. I am currently actually working to get my friend on board. She was a soldier with me in the Army, but she's Native. And the authors that I want under my brand, as long as it aligns with the positive message, and it's gonna show boys and girls, of course, of different backgrounds, because it's important, again, for everybody to see themselves reflected in a story where they are the hero or the main character, because every one of us we can be a hero, right?
Yeah. Wow. So, yeah, it's something I did. I used to teach creative writing in middle school level, and a program we always did was about helping people see disability as not a if you think about it, a lot of the kids movies and TV shows that we all saw growing up, there was somebody missing an eye or a leg or an arm, or and they were a burn victim, and they were always the villain.
Oh yeah.
Or if somebody with a disability is portrayed, it's always about the disability and overcoming the disability. And so I had my kids write stories where there were people with disabilities, in the stories, but the story had nothing to do with the disability.
Oh, yes. That is important. That is important because I am more than my, current situation, right? Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Yes, I love that.
Yeah, but it's something you don't think about until
Yeah.
really, I thought about all the villains that I've ever, seen. There's typically something that makes them look different.
Oh my goodness, yes.
And that's not, what are we teaching subliminally with that?
Yeah.
So you are a mom and a wife and busy. So what does the self-care alignment look like for you?
Oh my goodness. You know what? Sometimes, I find time early in the morning for myself to write and later in the evening to write because my boys are my focus, right? So I try to engage each of them into like some kind of venture in the empire, right? And so my oldest son will be making like a legacy apparel, like a clothing line for boys, right? So my middle baby, most of my characters are based off of something that he does or says or something because he's, my goodness, he's opened my eyes in a way that make me see the world through a different lenses, right? And so he's taught me so much as a parent. With my older son, I was like, you're going to do this. But with my middle one, I kind of let him lead me in my parenting. And then the baby is just, he's 2 and he is definitely, he should have been my first child because sometimes I don't have the energy like to match his. So, my day, like I said earlier, I homeschool. So it's always something with learning. We do math and reading every day. And, summer just hit and my son is like, well, do we get a summer break? I was like, yeah, we're getting a summer break, but we always learn, right? So I definitely have to just make sure I take time for myself early in the morning and later at night. And then I'm learning like during the lunchtime to take my break there to do like some walking, but I have to again include the kids.
That's hard to juggle.
You're
a rock star.
It's been fun. I can't complain. It's been a lot of fun.
So I know you haven't been a member for very long, and we were just talking about how you want to try to make it in more and everything. But can you point out anything that you've noticed so far, just with the Hive community, that might have helped?
Absolutely. I'm getting like more into the swing of the coffees. The coffee roulette. Yes. And so that was one thing, the networking thing. That was a main reason why I joined your workspace, is for the networking opportunity. Because like in the military, it wasn't who you worked hard, you work. But out in the civilian sector, it really is. You need to connect with people. And so
your network is your network.
Oh my goodness, that's the truth. And so that I want to say thank you for that so far. Also the opportunities. I found it was a notification about Wichita's on there, and I saw it, and I was like, "What is this?" I looked into it, and I was able to participate in that. And I've always wanted to, kind of delve in and to be a motivational speaker because I've come from, there are places and things that I've overcome, that I feel like I can speak on and I can help other people with, and so. Yeah, that was so awesome.
You did a great job.
Thank you. It was so much fun. It was so fun. I was like, I can do this, right? And so that was just confirmation that I can do what I think I can do.
Yay. Awesome. I love that. Well, what insight might you give to somebody who's maybe at the beginning of their journey as an author or an entrepreneur?
I insight, right? I sometimes I equate that with advice, and so I try not to give advice because each of us are on our own paths, right? We are on our own journey. Some of us, are married, and like for me, my husband is able to kind of carry us while I'm on this journey. But some people aren't there, right? But I would say, like one of our taglines is "Walk into your purpose," right? Each of us have been given a gift, right? Essentially, we're something that we're good at, and that it's natural for us to do. And so whatever that is for each of us, I just encourage you to find it, continue to develop it, and give it back to the world for them to see, right? And if you are an author, all it is just to write, right? Every one of us can write. Like you said that earlier. Every one of us can write. If you have an idea, everyone has an experience, everybody has something that they can share from a different lens, a different perspective. And so if you are in that journey, and even if it doesn't align with my message behind Legacy, I offer a class where I teach you how to self-publish through KDP. I offer some creative consulting. Say you have an idea, but you just can't get it from start to finish. I just kind of coach you through it. I just had my first client over the past month.
Congratulations.
Yes, and she finished her book and it is ready. She's waiting on to publish. She's kind of, I think she's a little nervous about the whole marketing aspect of it. And I just kind of tell her, hey, just listen, after you're done, put it out there and you continue to push it. Because I still haven't figured out this marketing aspect of it. But I'm not going to stop.
Yeah.
I'm going to continue to give out what I have, and I'll learn it along the way.
I love it. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Well, anything we can do to help you? Anything you have coming up?
Oh, absolutely. So first off, just this month, like May 29th on my son's birthday, I just published my new story, All Mixed Up.
You had everything going on this last weekend. Oh my gosh. Your 1 year
Yes.
anniversary, your son's birthday, you published a book,
Yes.
Memorial Day.
Yes.
Wow.
So that story is about parents, if you have more than one child, or even teachers, or even any social group that you could be, a sport, a coach, anywhere, right? We can look at one of the children and call them one of the other children's name, right? You can look dead in their face and you know exactly who you're talking to, and you can call them their name. Well, I did this, and my middle son told me, Mom, my name is Uriah. And so I used to get angry about it when my mom did that to me. So I decided, let me do some research. What is this? It is called the misnaming phenomenon. Yes. And it is, the brain does it without thinking, right? It files categories of social groups in the same thing. And so when you look at your children, for instance, you can call them by the other child's name because you put them in that file, and it just happens, right? And so each of us can speak to doing that if you're a parent with more than one child, and each of us can speak to being done, having that done to them, right? And so this book explores it. It happens. The little boy, he goes back and he does the research, he finds it, and then he says, you know what, this is just my mom, right? My mom only does it, only to find out that he goes through his day and he keeps encountering it, right? But then it also speaks to the confirmation bias, when you give light to a subject,
you start
right?
seeing it everywhere.
Oh my goodness. So that's the underlying message of it too. So
cool.
that's just out. It's on Amazon. I haven't even got my author's copies in. I won't get them until the 13th. But if you could support me, go on to Amazon and type in Dana McCall, All Mixed Up, and there it is.
Awesome.
And if you get it off of Amazon, leave me a review.
Awesome.
I appreciate that. The other thing is, just if you see me out and at vendor events, I try to make my way to as many as I can, because again, I haven't found out how to sell books without being there. Yeah, just come say hi to me, tell your friends about me. I welcome you all.
Yeah, and give books as presents. Next holiday you have coming up.
Books as
all
presents.
the kids in your family.
Instead of cards, give a book, right?
I love that.
Yes.
Awesome. And when is your next, do you do those author classes on a rolling basis?
I've been doing it just by contact so far. So I did my first client last month. Hopefully I get a client this month.
Yeah.
And so right now I'm just doing one-on-ones, but I look forward to being able to do like a group of 5.
Awesome.
Or so.
Okay.
So,
well, I'll start sending people to you when they talk about wanting to write a book.
Yeah, absolutely. You can find my books on my website at www.legacyofnegasi.com. I'm also again on Amazon. And yeah, Barnes and Nobles has a few of my books on there so far. So I'm working to get the rest of them on there.
Yeah.
So yeah, just support. And if you are a marketing strategist that could help me out, all right, come on, please contact me so we can get this thing going.
Well, thank you so much, Dina, for joining today.
Andrea, thank you for having me.
Absolutely.